I'm Dr. Vandana Dua Nair, and I'm a kidney doctor at Emory. The video you're about to watch is going to discuss the different options available for you when you need any kind of renal replacement therapy, including transplant, peritoneal dialysis, or hemodialysis. We usually check the kidney function by blood work, and we can easily tell what percentage of kidney function is remaining by a simple equation. When your kidney function gets to around 20%, your doctor will discuss different options for renal replacement therapy. So a kidney transplant is really important to discuss right at the beginning when you get diagnosed with severe kidney dysfunction, either chronic kidney disease stage 4 or 5, because a kidney transplant is one option that does provide the best quality of life, as well as patients live longer, more productive lives. A kidney transplant is a surgery where a healthy kidney from a donor, either someone who is living, related or unrelated to you, or a deceased donor, someone who's passed away but had a healthy kidney, is taken and placed into your body, and it works just like your own natural kidney would. However, the big issue with the deceased donor transplant is that it can take sometimes 5 to 8 years in the state of Georgia to get the right kidney. And so it's important to discuss this early with your doctor, as well as to discuss with your family and friends, because a living donor transplant does have better outcomes than a deceased donor transplant.
Hey, I'm Daryl, and I miss a lot of things.
How could you?
Oh, that was today? Oopsies. Well, one thing I never miss are my dental visits, my eye exams, or other healthcare appointments. I remember my appointments because they all remind me with Solution Reach. Solution Reach is a patient communication software.
What I feel is good about transplant is it's life-changing, and I would recommend it for anyone, because when it works, it's great. I know many people who receive transplants, and it has worked beautifully for them. You have to take the medication religiously. It's just something you have to do. And at a minimum, if that's all I have to do is take medication, that's the easy part. To me, that's the simplest thing in the world, is to, take a few medications every day. As I said, the hard part with transplant is the waiting. And then when they call you, it's thrilling, it's nervousness, you're scared, will it work, will it won't work, will I get it, you go through a ton of emotions, but when you get it and it works, it's life-changing, it's life-altering.
Peritoneal dialysis is a form of dialysis where we use your body's own filter. It's a membrane that's in all of our bodies called the peritoneum. So instead of bringing the blood out of the body to be cleaned in hemodialysis, we bring the dialysis fluid into the body. When you're performing peritoneal dialysis, you actually have two options as to how you perform the peritoneal dialysis. There's one called CAPD, which means continuous ambulatory peritoneal dialysis. And all that means is you can get up and walk around while you're getting your dialysis. Typically, the procedure takes anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. You do it 4 times a day, spread out over 24 hours. So we usually tell patients it's breakfast, lunch, supper, bedtime. We don't expect you to stop what you're doing. You fit it into your day. And then there's APD, which is automated peritoneal dialysis, and that's where instead of performing the dialysis during the day and then sleeping at night, you actually set up a little cycler machine that's like 27 pounds that sits on your bedside table. You hook up to that when you go to bed, and it actually runs the fluid in and out at night while you sleep.
I do the cycler at night. I don't do the manual exchanges. Going to bed at night and being connected to that machine it's not something that you feel. There's no noise connected or anything, and you get up in the morning and your system has been cleaned and you're good to go for the entire day to go about your life, to do whatever you want to do, without having to stop or plan your day around your dialysis, because it's all been done for you while you slept.
Some of the advantages are, number one, you're getting dialysis 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's no ups and downs. There's no recovery time. You hopefully feel good all the time. It's easy to travel. We don't have to have a clinic and arrange for you to go have dialysis at that clinic. You just have like a backup if you got into trouble. Your supplies are shipped to where you're going, so that they're already there when you leave. So all you have to do is get to your location and your dialysis supplies are already there. There are no needles. The only needle is the one blood draw that we do a month, so there's no sticking. It's just connecting to a catheter. In hemodialysis, the word heme means blood. So that means we're going to clean the blood by taking it out of the body and running it through an artificial filter that's already been made, in comparison to the peritoneal dialysis where we use the body's membrane. So the blood is taken out of the body and run through these little fibers that are bathed with a dialysis solution that draws the poisons out and the extra water out of the blood. There are many ways to do hemodialysis. One is what we call in-center hemodialysis, where you come into the clinic where you have staff that actually put the needles in your access, connect you to the machine, and filter the blood outside the body. People that go in-center run 3 times a week. Usually an average treatment time would be 4 hours. So they come Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You're going to fit to the clinic schedule. You've got trained medical staff with you all the time. They're performing the dialysis with you. So if you have questions, they're going to be right there to answer them. If you got into any kind of medical issues, they're going to be right there. Because you're only getting your dialysis 3 times a week, they have to remove all the poisons and all the fluid in those 4 hours. So those treatments typically are going to be faster and a little bit draining on your system, depending on how much fluid you've gained. One of the biggest advantages to in-center hemodialysis is contact with other dialysis patients. They form a little family. You get to know your neighbors that are going through the same thing you're going through, and it's like a family environment in your little bay and who sits by you. Another hemodialysis that is available is called nocturnal dialysis. And on that is where you can come into the clinic at night. Typically they come in around 7 or 8 at night and run 6 to 8 hours. So it's those 4-hour treatments slowed down. So they're getting their hemodialysis 3 times a week, but it's at night and it's longer and it's slower. The way we've kind of set up the units is we have hospital beds. So you can bring your blankets, you can bring your sheets, you can kind of make it as comfortable as you can, because about 10 o'clock at night, we're going to turn the lights down low. So unless the machine alarms, you hopefully can just sleep straight through the night, get up in the morning and go to work and get your sleep while you're dialyzing.
When I first started home hemodialysis, it was great. I loved it. It was just wonderful to be at home. It was very comfortable, very pleasant in my own environment. Next stage is about yay high. It can sit on your end table, and you can use bags where all you have to do is run a drain line that they give you and you can get a box of them, and they give you these drain lines. You hook it up, and you run it to your bathroom, and you can dialyze. It's color coded. It's so easy and so comfortable, because again, you're in your home, you're in your own environment, you're in a comfortable place. I dialyze in my bedroom, so I'm laying in bed, I'm watching TV. If I want to eat, I can eat. If I want to talk on the phone, I can talk on the phone. If I want to use my computer, I can do that. Or if I just want to veg out and watch a movie, I can do that. I dialyze 5 times a week. There's no heat peaks and valleys. It's just very smooth. I dialyze for 2.5 hours each treatment. So it's very easy, very gentle. And when you get off, you can go do what you need to do. You're not drained. So I like the convenience. I like the comfort of my own home. And I like the flexibility it gives you. And I like the feeling that it gives you. It gives you normalcy.
Watch what eggs do to your brain. Take a look at these 2 brain scans. They both look young, strong, and healthy, but only one of them is young.
The key to getting hemodialysis is access to the circulation. It would be wonderful if we had an ideal access, one that could be placed right away, that could be accessed repeatedly and consistently, that would provide us adequate blood flows for each dialysis every time, and that had minimal complications and could be patent for a long period of time, because an access, after all, is your lifeline. At this point, we don't have an optimal access. The one thing that we do know as of today is that for most people, if you are doing hemodialysis, an arteriovenous fistula is the best choice. So an arteriovenous fistula is created by connecting your own artery to your own vein. So it's native, there's absolutely no foreign material in there. Once it's mature, it can be used successfully for a very long period of time. However, the difficulty is that it does take 3 to 6 months for it to mature before it can be used for hemodialysis. An arteriovenous graft is intermediate between a fistula and a catheter. When your veins are not good enough for an arteriovenous fistula, the graft, which is a piece of plastic, is used to make that connection. The advantage is that it can be used within 2 to 3 weeks for some of the older grafts, but the new grafts that we have nowadays can be used within 24 hours of placement. However, because the graft is still a foreign piece of material, right where the graft connects to the artery as well as where it connects to the vein, it forms a narrowing that causes the grafts to clot repeatedly. A central venous catheter is almost like a large IV that's placed in your neck or in your chest. And the advantages of a central venous catheter is that you can use it immediately as soon as you place it. And one intention that the central venous catheter was developed for was to serve as a bridge until a more permanent access like an arteriovenous graft or an arteriovenous fistula or even a PD catheter is ready for use. However, there are lots of disadvantages. Most people find having a tube in your chest very uncomfortable. You cannot take a shower throughout the time that you're having a central venous catheter. And in the long run, a central venous catheter is prone to many complications. It can cause infections, and because the tip of the catheter sits in the heart, the infections can spread throughout the body and lead to very serious complications and in some cases even death. Another long-term problem of a central venous catheter is that because it's a foreign body that sits in a large vein, over time the vein reacts to this foreign body by causing scarring and narrowing around the catheter that can lead to what we call central venous stenosis. And this stenosis can serve as a deterrent for us to be able to put any further permanent access in that side or that extremity.
I had a catheter when I first started. I haven't had one since. What I can tell you about the catheter is I didn't like it. It's bad. It's not a good way to dialyze. I know a lot of patients like the ease of it. They're not getting stuck and you can just hook it up and go, and that's easy, but it's really not a good way to dialyze. I didn't like them putting it in, and I didn't like them pulling it out. There's nothing about a catheter that I like. It was a necessity. Other than that, for me, it wasn't a good, I didn't like anything about it. My advice for other patients is, first, be the captain of your ship. It's your body, it's your treatment. Be the captain. The doctors, the nurses, they're there to help you, to give you information, but you are the final decision maker. And in order to make a good decision, you need to learn as much as you can about the modality that you choose. And don't be afraid to ask questions, demand answers, get alternatives, and then make your decision. And that's with anything in life. It's your life. You're the one who has to go through this, so you need to learn as much as you can about it. Own it, take control of it, and make it work for you. I guess looking back on it, one of the things I can say is that one of the reasons home worked out and one of the reasons in-center worked out is because I made it work out. I took hold of it and I made it my own, and I made it work for me. And that's what I would advise anybody to do, is whatever modality you choose, you make it work for you. And if it don't, you change it.
So now that you know what different options you have for your access if you choose hemodialysis, or for your many different ways that you can replace your kidney function, you have a decision to make. And it's important that you learn as much as you can about these different options. Know yourself, know your lifestyle. Talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to your doctor, talk to your kidney team, so that you can come up with the best option that works best for you. And also keep in mind that no option needs to be permanent. Treatment needs change, your needs may change. So as you go through this process, as you go through this journey, we as your team, as your physicians, as your staff, as your nurses and your technicians are here to help you make the right decision at every point in life on this journey.
This is the quickest way to clear out stuff.